But today we're going to talk about our creator economy predictions. Before we do that, we're going to introduce ourselves. And for once, I'm going to introduce myself first, which I never do. My name is Michelle Jackson. I run Creators Getting Paid. My mission is to help inspire people as they monetize their brands. I have the ethos, so all may learn, so all may earn. And I would love for you guys to check out that project. If you're going to Colorado, by the way, I do run a website and podcast called Square State Colorado. So if you have questions about Denver and the state, that's where I answer them. Next.
I'll go next. What's up, everybody? My name is Angela. I write 2 newsletters. One is called Please Hustle Responsibly. It is a newsletter for creative entrepreneurs to learn, connect, and grow. And I also write Melanin MVP, which is a women's sports newsletter. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on a Tuesday. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and we're excited to see you all again.
Hi, everybody. My name is Corey Gomes. I'm the founder of the Black Podcast Association and Black Pod News, blkpodnews.com, which is a newsletter right here on Substack. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe today because I'm trying to get to 5K before the end of the month, and we're only 45 subscriptions away. So let's hopefully we reach that tonight. So
all right.
Help me to get to 5K. But I'm happy to be here. Felt a little weird not seeing you guys for almost a whole week.
You missed us.
With the holiday and everything. So glad to be back with our audience. Just to leave for another couple of weeks after.
Hey. Okay.
There we go. See, sometimes all you gotta do is just ask.
There you go.
Gotta ask. So for today, I thought that each one of us should share 3 predictions each, and then we can discuss it with each one of us. You know what I mean? Like how we do it. And Angela, I think you should go first because I always love how you think about stuff. So I'm very curious to hear what your predictions are.
Yeah, so I did start writing a newsletter on my predictions for next year, or what I think are going to be trends and things that we're going to see in the creator economy, but I did not write them down physically for me to talk about now. So this is literally just off the dome and off memory and just what is coming to mind right now. I think something that I'm betting on personally is more analog tech. I think people want to experience brands more. So I guess maybe in a sense it's analog, but also experiential design. I'm writing a zine. I'm working on a vinyl postcard. I know a lot of other people that are looking to do podcast vinyl, and they're looking to make newspaper versions of things that they're working on, whether that be their podcast or their newsletter. I just think there's a really big desire for people to get off their phones and get off this what feels like an endless hamster wheel of chaos and negativity and uncertainty and the comparison game, and really just be in person with people and have genuine relationships and have genuine connections with people. So that's kind of what I'm banking on. Another thing that I'm banking on that I think we've already seen a little bit here on Substack, surprisingly, is ghostwriting for Substacks and ghostwriting for newsletters. I think more people are now feeling the itch to own a corner of the internet, but there is not a lot of people who are willing to put in the work to be consistent to gain that authority. So I think they're probably going to, and we've seen it in the past couple weeks. We've seen I think the New Yorker has joined Substack. We're seeing a lot of interesting brands come to Substack. I think NASCAR is on Substack. I think F1 is on Substack. Interesting brands that probably have not had a true editorial newsletter in their marketing plan for years. And so now they're like, okay, we know we need to be on this new channel, which is essentially long form social media, but how do we grow? And I think the easiest way is to get someone who's already native to Substack to write for you and to leverage notes for you and to build community for you. So I think we're going to see a lot of that And that's just an extension of, you know, CEOs wanting ghostwriters essentially. Like, who is your head of content for your CEO and executive content? It's the same thing that's spilling over to brands. But that would be my third thing too. I think CEO and executive content is becoming more and more important. Um, I just read Morgan DeBon, who is the CEO of Blavity and Afrotech. Like, she just wrote about what it was like for her to release her first book. And
Got
basically she was like,
50K.
yeah, and it was really more than 50K, but that was a nice number. She really should have said 60K because that's probably more accurate. Um,
Mhm.
but essentially, she was basically like in that article, like if you don't have 5,000 newsletter subscribers, like don't even bother writing a book. Focus on that first. And I think there are a lot of CEOs who may not be like interested in writing a book, but they're interested in leveraging a highly engaged and loyal audience for something. And I think
Mm.
5,000 is a target, but 5,000 doesn't just happen with Facebook ads. 5,000 people that are interested, engaged, going to buy from you happens from consistency and someone who really is focused on building community. So I think those are probably my top three predictions for 2026. And I didn't say anything about events because I feel like one of you guys is going to say something about events, but it's murky.
Corey, what do you think?
I wasn't planning on talking about events, but
No,
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 you
I
have
mean
to.
about
You have to.
Angela's list. Yeah. What do you think about that?
okay.
Are we getting him on a quiet day? Uh-oh.
No, I'm just saying. Okay, I don't know. Like, I don't. I mean, I haven't been paying attention too much, so I can't. I
Mm,
reserve my opinions to the experts. I know
well,
what I
since
think.
you
I
are
see things
one,
going on. I mean, yeah, but I don't talk about things I don't know. So I try not to. I try not to.
Okay, so what are your predictions for 2026, Corey?
yeah, we're gonna just
Well,
pass it.
I was researching some stuff, and then the past 2 days, some other news came out. One, iHeartRadio has said they're not going to allow
Mm,
AI driven content or created content on their platform, which I think was big because considering they have one of the biggest podcast networks out there, and I think that had a lot to do with the music side of things too, because they deal with music
mm,
as well. So I thought that was big, and we're going to start seeing a lot more of that. And then Universal, was it Universal? One of the major record labels settled their lawsuit with now I can't remember the name of it. So, not Sora. The AI that Timbaland and all of them, they settled that, and part of the deal was a licensing agreement. So I
mm,
think we're going to start seeing. I started looking up some stuff about that, and I kind of was agreeing with the direction that it's going in, where you're going to start seeing a lot of data um, being licensed to creators from creators to these platforms to the AI platforms and all that stuff. Not necessarily you opting out because there's a lot of legislation I think that's going to happen in 2026 that's going to really shake up the whole AI and who owns content and all that stuff and data, paying people and stuff like that for the data that they use. So I'm interested to see that part of 2026. Another thing, and there's something I've always been, even pre all of this stuff with different, the platforms is always owning your own platform. And which was interesting because I was doing some research and I see the discussion between, and this is the discussions we've had behind the scenes for the past couple of weeks for like the Beehive or Substack, right? Where Beehive, it seems like it's starting to give, the creators on their platform more control and more ownership of what they're doing versus where Substack is like a network driven platform. I think we're going to start seeing, it's almost like a ripple effect. What you see going on with the AI stuff is going to also ripple effect into how you go about owning and distributing your content. So I think we're going to see a lot more people moving towards like their own platforms or using tech that allows them to have more ownership and of the delivery of their content versus saying we give you more delivery and then hey, by the way, help us grow. And then when we get to a certain point, we decide to go public. Then we hit you with a whole new different platform. But um,
mm.
a lot of the stuff that I'm predicting is more AI related. I think we're going to see. It's funny because I've been working on my own AI project behind the scenes. Um, And I think what we're going to see also is a fatigue of AI created content.
Mhm.
Um, I'm on the fence with it because I have a friend on my Facebook that I follow, and he's been making a lot of money creating some of the worst AI content ever. And he's doing it intentionally. But the funny part is, I read the comments and I see what he's talking about, and people are feeding into it. He's been making like these AI ice videos and stuff like that, where I don't know how anybody could look at this video and be like, "Oh, this is even remotely real." But it is remote. It is getting. And this could probably be the bot problem, right? Where the bots are responding and commenting. But I'm just like, people are commenting and they're responding to it, and and they're watching this stuff, and he's making a lot of money off of it. Um, but I think there's going to come a point where, and it's always a comment that says this is AI or people can't really tell. I think we are going to get to a point um, where we see what's going on in China, where we see is Italy. I was just reading an article about what Italy's doing, where you're going to start having government regulation over influencers and the content that influencers can put out and what they can't put out. I know in China, they're saying certain topics you have to have a college degree. Italy, I think they just arrested somebody or an influencer out there, or she's being sued or something like that for some content she put out. And it's almost like the people are like, we've had enough of this. So now they're going to start regulating. So I see that coming in 2026. And I don't know if it's going to happen under this administration, but it's definitely going to happen maybe on a state level, which might force the federal level to start paying attention to it. So we'll see.
Mm. Uh, should I share my 3 and then we'll just talk about all of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually released a podcast episode today where I shared 17 different predictions. Like, some are interwoven. It's really interesting to me because you guys touched on a couple of things that I um, have been thinking about or looking at. I think one thing that's really going to gain more traction where people actually buy into it is the idea of owning your platform. One of my words for the year is ownership. And so, having a website somewhere, it could be simple, but you've got a like a backup plan, right? I think people who are in the creator economy, I think they're finally ready to hear the talking points around that because there's so much um like going on in the US. I don't know about other countries. I think US-based creators I will finally be willing to even hear this talking point. So I think ownership, and sorry guys, I'm actually typing out our points as we're saying them. So I think that's a thing. I think that they may be a little reluctant, but they're starting to get it. Um, let's see. Community for sure is going to be huge, and uh, offline community, like literally people that you meet in real life. It could be that you're still doing Zooms because we are connecting with people all over the world, but an emphasis on doing things in your hometown, at an event, when you're traveling. I think that that's going to be huge. And I actually think it's going to be important because a lot of the larger conferences are happening in the fall, like late fall. And so a lot of the community building, a lot of the connection that a lot of us need during the year, it's just not going to happen at an event until later on. And quite frankly, a lot of these events are very expensive this upcoming year. I've been trying to figure out where I'd like to go, what I'd like to do, what makes sense for me. And I am shocked, like shocked at some of the prices. I'm looking to attend at least one conference focused on list building emails. And I saw an event that was basically one day and it was about $750 for the day. And I don't think they had food. And I'm like, why the hell would I do that? Okay. So I think there are going to be a lot of creators like myself, other folks who are like, we will get our people together and we'll figure it out locally. and it'll be a hell of a lot less hassle. I won't have to travel. It'll be cheaper. So I think community throughout the year, and also as a way to mind the gap on these big events as they've gotten just so expensive. And a lot of these events are in places that people may or may not want to go from just fatigue of always going to those places. Like there are events that it's not just that I'm boycotting the states. Like I've been to the states that I'm boycotting, by the way, but it seems like the events are always there. Like, why is that compelling for me to go? Part of why I like to attend events, it's not just to learn things, it's not just to connect with other creators, it's the experience of the place.
Yeah.
And so I am not excited to go to Orlando over and over again. The only cool thing about Orlando are those cute little geckos that like race around. It's not even on the beach. So I just feel like uh, I'll tell you how I really feel about Orlando, okay?
Shots have been fired. Oh, that's what we'll
Yes,
say.
Michael. Yes. Yes, $750 American dollars, no food, okay? So
Rubles
I
are
think
Russian currency that would be like a penny or something in American dollars, is what he's saying. He's like, "I ain't paying
I know,
7."
right? I know. I know. And so so I think that that's gonna be a thing, and then let's see, this one's a little spicy given where we are, but I brought it up a little bit. I think that there's gonna be some pushback on how recommendations features work in newsletter, ecosystems. Not just specific to Substack. I just think in general, they need to be retooled. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and Matt McGeary, I'm pretty sure, is one of the folks that I was listening to, and he's started to really come out against it. And he's because now we have a lot of data, excuse me, specific to how recommendations may impact what your list will do. And so I think that there's going to be some pushback around the design of recommendations features on all the platforms that do this. And so I think that's going to be interesting.
Can I respond to that, actually? I have
Absolutely.
2 points. So, Matt McGeary, you mentioned newsletter conferences. He's hosting one. He changed the name.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
okay.
That was, I
Is
don't
she
know what
back?
happened. Yes.
Okay.
I'm here.
So he's hosting
Oh,
a newsletter conference in February in Austin, Texas, which I know is one of the states that you boycott. But it's called like the New Media Summit. And I really wanted to go, but I'm not traveling in Q1. So that kind of knocked it out for me. I
mm.
would go to Texas for that. Um, and maybe some good tacos. But also, like, I think he did it in May last year, and I think it kind of like conflicted with another newsletter type summit in New York. So that's why he
Oh
moved the
yeah.
timing and he changed the name or whatever, because I guess he wanted to get away from calling it a newsletter because I'm sure there's also some like journalists that are there and they may not think of theirs as a newsletter. They think of it as something else. I'm not sure. But it's I guess a confluence of like uh of Matt for New Media Summit, Matt McGrary
Yeah.
for New Media. He
Yeah.
created New Media Summit. And I think for Black Friday he did 40% off and it was buy one, get one. So that brought the cost down like a lot. But again, I still didn't buy one because I'm like, I'm not traveling. But that would have been a good way to go for like, I think if you and one other person split it because you're getting 2 tickets, like it would have been way more affordable then. Because that was a really pricey one. That was 700 something, 800 something, I think. Um,
I didn't even know that actually with that one. So,
and
okay.
there's a Black woman speaking on that one because I know that was also one of your concerns was like there's not a lot of Black, and there is obviously it wasn't like 50% women, 50% men, but it was like a good some women, a Black woman. I was like, okay, I like the spread. I like who's talking. I would go probably in 2027 if I felt like it was a good time to go. But that was one thing I wanted to say. The other thing I wanted to say was I was literally having this conversation with somebody today about recommendations and how I've long complained that I feel like Substack recommendations are not sticky because of the way that people sign up via recommendations. It's like they're just trying to click to get through this like sign up barrage of pages and they're just like,
Mhm.
get me out of here. And then they get you in your inbox and you're like, why am I here? Or even if like the 2 people that come from notes, they can always opt to only get it in the app. and that's like defeating the purpose. And so when they like, for whatever reason, if it lands in their inbox, they're like, what is this? Unsubscribe. So it's just like the relationship is Substack touts that, they created notes for discovery and that's supposed to, help you grow and build relationships with other writers and readers. But I also think they're forgetting that social media requires some sociality and it's like, and socializing. And if someone is coming to you cold, that is not actually a good start to your relationship. Beehive did something over the summer that at first I wasn't super kosher with, but now I think is a good thing, which is that, instead of having like a list of 20 people you're recommending, they're like, we're going to MySpace with this shit. You get your top four, and everybody else is just everybody else. So your top
Yep.
four are the only people that are shown. And I do think for people that are like, not trying to be barraged with information on a sign up workflow, it works a lot better and the subscribers are a lot stickier because they are actively choosing that, I think, a little more consciously than they are on Substack. Um, and I would just looking at my trend rate, one, it's already low, but of the people that unsubscribe, it's like much, much more rare for it to be someone that was recommended to me from a Beehive writer than from a Substack writer. So I did just want to put that out there. So that's interesting that you say that. I don't know if Substack will ever listen to us about anything, but I hope they do listen to people on recommendations. Because it's not great as it stands right now. Um, Also, sorry, Michelle keeps going in and out. I hope she comes back. Um, there were no black
Yeah, it might
women
be a
in.
service.
Yeah. Lauren said last year there were no black women or black men and only 3 women last year. Some of us complained. Well, I'm glad you complained because it sounds like they listened. And they brought um at least
One?
one person. We would like
One?
more.
Yeah.
We
You know,
want more.
and that's a problem with a lot of conferences, but I think that's a whole nother conversation.
No, that's real. And there have been some people that to their credit, like there's been a couple of YouTubers that I know that have said like if I get invited to a panel or to be a part of an embargo for a new product, and they will ask for the brand to send them the other list of creators who they've asked. And if they don't see any women or people of color, they will bow out and say, hey, somebody else could use this spot. You need to ask a woman or or a person of color to take my spot. So I think that's, white people, if y'all want to use y'all's privilege, that's one way to do it. Because I don't think they're going to listen otherwise. Wait, y'all campaigned during the event? Are we talking about the Matt McGreary thing?
Hmm.
Y'all for real?
That's what she's
Y'all was,
talking about. Yeah.
oh shoot. And Michael, you was there too? See, y'all was up there causing a ruckus. I'm glad y'all did. Jesus.
Look at y'all, Lauren over there being a troublemaker,
Right?
like she is in our chats. I sent Michelle an invite. Hopefully everything's all right over there.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about yours more?
A little bit. I
All right,
wouldn't talk
cool.
about, I think Didi said it's gotten out of hand. It has. I want to talk about Substack for a second because you were talking about, you know, where's a place that people feel like they can own their community. Um, so Hamish McKenzie, you'll sometimes see him in Substack notes. He's one of the co-founders of Substack. And he made a post is either today or yesterday that was like media critics that say that Substack is a walled off garden should not be listened to. No platform that's a walled off garden would let you export your subscribers, would let you export your paid subs and take them anywhere, and would allow you to have a discovery feature inbuilt where you can find new subscribers. Like that's not a walled off garden. And that is an interesting way of looking at it. I mean, he's not wrong. I think Patreon is probably more of a walled off garden in that sense because I don't think you can take um, your subscribers with you if you want to leave Patreon, which is unfortunate and interesting. Um, so I would love to hear your take on that, like how you feel about his perception that, you know, they don't necessarily need to have an API because you can still get everything that you need from the platform once you sign up if you decide that it's not for you at some point.
I mean, controlling your own list is important, right? Having access. There was another one that didn't let you do that. I don't know if it was a long time ago. I remember because I remember I wasn't going to use it. But if I can't take my list that I've built and that one either I brought over to your platform from previous iterations and then built on it, and then I can't leave with it, that is a huge problem. I don't know if it's I wouldn't say it's a walled off garden, but I would say them not having an API is extremely limiting. And what you can do with increasing your newsletter or your audience experience with their platform. I will never forget when Rob Dunwood kept saying this is going to be so they're trying to turn it into a social media platform. And this was before I think he said it when they first introduced Notes, and
Yeah.
that's when he started saying it. So I think that's where their concentration is really with it. As far as with the what's his name Hamesh, I want to just say
Hamish, I don't know how you
Hamish
say his name.
Hamish. I do agree with him to that point where the point he was making that if they really were trying to prevent you from, you know, having access to your stuff, they would make sure you couldn't take it with you. But I
Yeah.
think from a company point of view, I think it would be stupid to say, hey, we won't allow you to export your list, right? That's just suicide, right? Nobody's going to use your platform, especially the type of audience you're trying to attract by not allowing people to be able to say, let me take this list and move it over to where I need to move it over once I'm done with this platform or if I'm not happy with this platform. I think the more important thing you brought up is that are they listening?
Yeah.
And who they're listening to. It seems like they only listen to the top earners, so or
Yeah.
they have access to them. Which, hey, I mean, I get it because you're using them in your pitches to raise capital and with the VCs and stuff. But I mean, I see a lot of similar things within the podcasting space. I had this talk with somebody last week about it. It's like if you're only concentrating on the top earners and not the people, and it doesn't trickle down, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Um,
Oh,
Michelle,
Michelle.
I see you in there. Oh, there she goes. I think you're just setting yourself up for
Sorry.
failure in that capacity. So,
Yeah.
you know, but that's my opinion on it. Probably said a whole lot of nothing.
No, I agree with you. I wanna jump in the comments here for a second. Lauren says Patreon does allow for Zapier and such so you can clone your list as they sign up. But again, you're
Yeah,
doing
but
that
that's a
with
lot
a
of
third
work.
party. Yeah, it's a third party service. It's not like a native thing that Patreon allows. So that to me is suspect. Another thing that I found that's suspect with Patreon is so they have newsletters now, but every newsletter on Patreon is sent from the exact same email address, which is a
Oh,
problem
really?
because if somebody does some spammy stuff, then that means everybody that sends on Patreon is going to be screwed by that one person's behavior.
Oh,
So they need to change that
they just have
ASAP.
one server. Yeah.
That's so bad. It's not smart. And they're trying to, again, jump in the algorithm game because Jack Conte, for whatever reason, feels like he just knows best. And I mean, like, I think his heart is in the right place. I just think, like, we're at a point where he probably needs to get another CEO, if we're just being honest about it, like somebody who really understands um, new forms of media and discovery. Because he's thinking like, what works best for me, you know? And I think he's also thinking about like competing with Substack, when in reality, if he was smart in terms of an algorithm, he'd be competing with like TikTok and YouTube and really trying to be the best place that's friendly for creators. But from the video that he released with the New York Times, I don't feel like he's in the right headspace. So no shade to him. I hope I don't get kicked off of a platform I'm not on. But yeah. uh, Michael says, I mean, I feel like owning your list is a part of having a newsletter. Substack is just doing what everyone else is doing. Yes, like again, like it is long form social media. Like Beehive doesn't have a feed per se. Like it doesn't have that. Kit doesn't have a feed. Ghost doesn't have a feed where you're discovering other people. Patreon, I think, has had for the longest time a feed, but it was only people that you were like subscribed to. And you could search within Patreon to find other people to patron, but it wasn't like they were just going to organically pop up in your feed for you to discover a new artist. So I think they are in the best position to dive into the algorithm game. But part of me is just like, okay, can someone with sense just like buy back Twitter? You know what I'm saying? Like, because Twitter had a lot of the stuff that people are trying to do like forever. Like when they bought Review and made it so that you could put in like your newsletter in your bio, like in the top of your profile. That was the smartest shit they ever did, and it just like connected automatically. So it was like connecting the long form to the short form, but they discontinued that. So I think that honestly was kind of the basis for what Substack Notes is now. And for a lot of people, like I can just tell by the way they post on Notes, if Notes wasn't around and Twitter was the way it used to be, half of them wouldn't be on Substack. They would still be on Twitter because that's a much better social media platform than Substack is currently. Um, but I'm gonna stop talking.
Okay, so there are a couple of things. The first one is, and I actually recorded an episode during my first like podcast challenge this year. And the episode was about how we need to stop comparing Substack to Beehive. They're just the ethos of the products and the creators of the products is so different, and they're evolving so differently that they're not comparable. They're totally different things. They're evolving into totally different things. And I can tell that a lot of sorry, Matt McGeary. But I listen to a lot of these, these conversations that these folks have, and I can totally tell that they don't understand what these platforms do because they're not on them in the way that we are, right? Um, Substack for me is long form social media. And I love it. Like, I'm totally here for it. I'm not a Notes girly, though, by the way. So, weirdly enough, Notes does not do well for me at all. But
You're always on there.
no, I'm not. I'm always on Threads. And so
But yeah.
everyone's talking about Twitter, and I'm like, no, Threads. Threads is the place, guys. Threads, hilarious. They have the freaking Facebook, why is it echoing? They have the Facebook Pixel. It's a Meta product, so the targeting, like when you're on Threads actively, the geo-targeting's insane. The interest targeting is insane. The people are freaking hilarious on there. It is I don't think I've even laughed as much on Black Twitter. Like it is the quiet
That's because
like
Threads is just
giant.
Black
Um,
Threads. This is Black Twitter
am
on
I?
Threads.
You
It
know
is
what?
Threads.
It's Threads is the platform that everyone is sleeping on, and those folks who I actually because I'm pre-recording a lot of content for 2026 right now, and that is literally the social media platform that I predict is the platform for 2026. There's so many reasons why. I think that they're having fun innovating with it. They have like they've added the feature to embed your podcast, which I love. So I've been discovering that's why I've been telling you guys about all these new podcasts. I'm like, ooh, because they're embedded into people's profiles. Like there's just things that they're doing with the platform that I really like. I've discovered like 1,000,000,001 books. I've discovered amazing new music, which didn't happen on Twitter. A lot of like incredible Black musicians and all kinds of different types of like music genres. Like I'm obsessed with Threads, and I am not a social media who is obsessed with being on social media, right? So for me to be like, I love Threads, that's it. Something has happened where it's come together despite the team that manages it.
I wanna add on that because recently, Nicole Hill, who has the podcast, Our Ancestors Were Messy. It was funny. I woke up one morning and I go on Threads, and somebody's in I guess the comment came up, probably because Facebook and all that stuff be watching what I do on my phone. Um, but the conversation came up, and I saw somebody recommending her podcast, and I took a screenshot and sent it to her. And she was like, I was wondering where all this uptick came in on my podcast all of a sudden. And I was like, yeah, people are like, you need to. She went and found a thread, and there was a whole thread conversation going on about her podcast. So I think from what you're saying, Michelle, is as a content creator or podcaster, there's an opportunity here for discovery, discovery and some growth. where and it's organic, right? Because people are talking about it and everybody's like, "Yeah, I know that one. I love it." And then they start quoting things and and then other people are like, "Oh, I got to check this out." It becomes an ongoing conversation. So I think for 2026, I think that might be something that if somebody's watching and they're looking for a place where they can use social media to for discoverability, they might get a better return on investment than focusing on like, the other platforms.
I
Can
want
I
to talk
jump
about
in
a
about that?
story. Oh,
Um,
yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah, yeah.
just wanted to jump on Threads for a second. First of all, I'm not saying anything good about Threads until I get the podcast features. Till then, I don't care. So,
Yeah, I ain't get it yet either.
so
I
when they get
got it.
into me personally, then I will say nice things. But overall, I did just want to comment on certain things. I think Threads discovery algorithm is good because Instagram's discovery algorithm is good. And I'm not necessarily talking about your feed. What I'm talking about is their actual explore page. Instagram's explore page has been that girl for years. And I mean like pre-pandemic years, okay? So it is honestly no surprise to me that the Threads algorithm is helping you discover things that you like. I think Instagram really did nail that. Whether or not I rock with Reels, whole other story, which I know they're pushing, but just like their propensity to help you find things you like, I think from their explore page, number one, is very good. Um, and I think that's carried over into how they crafted the threads feed, which is working very well. And I think it was really smart of them too to enhance how podcasts show up in the feed and not just on your profile, because that's again where people are going to be discovering. So it makes sense for you to be able to just like click and listen because they want you to stay there. But it's also helping you get downloads, it's helping you get streams, it's helping you get discovered. So a big part of me is rooting for threads for sure. But I still think LinkedIn, for the people who know how to leverage LinkedIn, it's going to be really good. But if you're, again, not in like the business kind of like stiff corporate space, then it probably won't work as well for you as Threads will.
I'm gonna say, you know what Threads help people find? Megan. Do you know that story about Megan, the girl at the airport whose boyfriend was talking shit about her? So
Oh
there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
girl named Megan and she was at DIA, Denver International Airport. Come to find out her boyfriend was talking shit about her and she was injured, she had a broken leg or something like that. We all know, all of us on Threads. And everyone's like, "Holy shit, we need to find her boyfriend because he's
Yeah,
an
I saw
asshole."
that. Yeah.
We found Megan, guys. We found her, and the original poster is like, yeah, Megan found it because it became a mission. Everyone on Threads was like, we're finding Megan because her boyfriend's an asshole. He's talking shit about her. They have broken up. We found her. No one needs to know who she is. The original poster's like, she's a sweetheart. She knows what's going on. My point is, Threads will find shit. Okay, we will find shit.
I just love
So
how
I'm
people
just
get cooked
Absolutely.
saying,
on there. I just love how
huh?
people get cooked on there. They think it's a good idea and they put up something. And I'm not gonna lie, it's got me. Sometimes I'll be ready to put up something. I'm like,
Don't do it.
maybe I need to chill on
Don't
this
do
one.
it.
Yeah. But
Don't
that's
do
how Twitter
it.
was. Twitter would find you. Like if you did some crazy stuff, Twitter would find you. So that energy is like, I think it took a minute, and I think that's why people are
Yeah.
still kind of like on Threads. But it took a minute for certain communities to start to roll over because so many people had, they had grown huge followings on Twitter, and maybe they weren't super as into Instagram. But I think they've like slowly but surely kind of found their way over and it's growing. So it's gotten a lot better, I would say, in the last like 6 to 8 months for sure.
I will say I've met a lot of Colorado threaders actually. So like I went on an excursion with some folks. One of the people here in Denver put together an excursion and I like attended. It was super fun. So I think that Threads is the social media social media platform that people are sleeping on. Currently you don't seem to get penalized for outbound links. Like there's just a lot that I really like about it. So
Yeah.
it's where I'm at for social. I'm not like I'm on Instagram a little bit, but not really. Like it's just it doesn't capture my imagination, which is also the issue with LinkedIn. Like it's just I just think the user experience as a person posting is subpar. and they haven't freshened it up enough for me to be enthusiastic about it. Like, I love disappearing threads and little ghosts, and like the fact that you can hit the heart and it's a pumpkin, or like there's just lots of little things that they're doing with the Threads platform to keep us engaged and excited, that I think is part of the reason why I'm so enthusiastically like, oh, I love it.
That
Um
is the one feature I don't like actually, but I'm gonna let you have it. As long as you're having fun, as long as somebody's having fun, go for it.
you don't like
That's
the
all I'm gonna say.
disappearing thread, do you?
I've never done one.
I
No.
I love it. I love it. um I am I want to touch on the ghostwriting. Uh
Okay.
that one's very interesting to me because I feel like I'm surprised that people are surprised that ghostwriting is a thing. I feel like because I've done freelance writing and I know a lot of people who've grown really large blogs, like this has been happening forever. And I think with Substack there is an intellectual purity thing that happens. Like everyone's like super intellectual and we're so above these things.
So,
And
no, it's
I'm like,
elitist. Just say it's elitist.
yes. Well, I couldn't think
That's
of the
all it
word,
is.
man. You are right. You are right. Um, and I feel like that is actually one of the downfalls of Substack is this elitist, annoying subculture talking down to people. I'm like, like, why are you surprised that people have people supporting them with these projects? Not everyone's crazy like me producing that much content. I have time on my hands, and I
I'm
batch a
not. I'm
lot,
trying
but
not to say the word today. I'm trying not to say the word today.
Corey, did you read my
But those are
newsletter?
usually the people that talk down. Or
No. So I quoted you in my newsletter, Corey.
you
Um,
did? I didn't
yeah,
see
I
it.
read it. She totally did.
at the end, I was like, in the words of Corey, just don't be a grifter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
I
also Angela's point about analog. I'm going to be taking a class to learn how to make a zine because we have a zine library here. And so like there's monthly meetings and like they teach you how to build them out cuz I am still having a hard time wrapping my head around like how I would put it together. So I'm just going to go to one of the classes and have them teach me and like learn how to be a part of the community. They have a festival, so I'm 100% in agreement with this like move to analog. We have a lot of listening bars here in Denver now, like records and like the record culture is huge here. Zines are huge. So these are things I think in the broader like culture, people are starting to move things off platform, and I think that that's something that's really interesting to watch and be a part of, to be honest.
My sci-fi hat is kicking in because it kind of reminds me of the
Oh.
beginning of Dune, where like everything was so humans rely so much on robots, and then there came a point where
Uh-huh.
they were like enough of this, and then they went back into the arts and going back to what made you a human and stuff. So it's kind of like when I'm hearing everybody talk about, I was like, we haven't even reached the close to the beginning of AI. Like we're just still in it. It's still in its infancy, right?
Mhm.
And I'm just like, we're already revolting against it, and it's just like interesting to it. I mean, I embrace it, but just hearing like,
but I think
you know,
there's my thing with AI, and this may not be fair, but I'm gonna say it anyway. My thing with AI is not even like the use of it. I think people that are mediocre are gonna use it to do mediocre things. People who are already good are gonna do it to make better things. You know what I'm saying? And people who just aren't skilled are gonna try it, but they don't have the skills to really leverage it to go from zero to hero. Like we keep getting sold that there's a possibility that you will be. So it's not even necessarily the use case. It is like one, the environmental impact, and two, the sheer amount of money that gets spent on it. And I don't think we as a collective have reaped enough benefits for what we've spent. And I feel like it's still this like golden ticket that people keep pointing to, like, oh, but it's so young, oh, it's gonna get better. And it's like, well, I want to see results now, not when we've spent billions and trillions of dollars and killed off our natural resources and our clean drinking water. Like I want it a lot sooner than that. And I don't think there is a collective reining in on like use case for AI, right? Because I think a lot of even like the companies that like really over indexed on AI, are now rolling it back because they're like, our users hate it. The quality has gone down. The user experience has gone down. We're losing customers. So it's not working in the way that we maybe wanted. And then when you think about some of the companies that maybe have said they wanted AI but haven't implemented it, let's talk about Netflix. Let's talk about Hulu. Let's talk about, all of those companies. They haven't really tangibly implemented AI in a way that's meaningful. And they have still gained a subscriber base. So it's like these big legacy brands that could engage it for
You think
enterprise.
those companies are not using AI, even though they may not publicly be saying they're using it?
I don't think that
They're
they're
they're the
using it.
leaders of it. They're the
Okay, hold
leaders
on.
of it.
Let me clarify. I don't think Netflix has used it tangibly to make a film end to end. I don't think Netflix has done anything more than what they already do, which is basically marketing psychology to give you a thumbnail for a movie or a TV show to engage you to watch it. But that was pre-AI. Netflix has had that for years. I don't think that's necessarily changed by AI. And I don't think that they are using it at scale and enterprise in a way that diminishes the quality of Netflix as a product. Let me just say that. Are people at Netflix who work at Netflix using it for social or whatever? Sure, probably. But does that diminish my relationship with Netflix and viewing and watching things on Netflix? No.
Mm.
Their whole entire platform is AI.
I think
When you go
we
when
need
you
to
go on that
distinguish
app,
between.
when you go on that app, all their data collection, everything is AI run, whether they want to publicly admit it or not, because they're these companies, these big companies are the ones that are. You know what? I'm just going to get off that platform
But
because
okay, no, let's
a
talk
lot of it
about, like,
is
do we consider an algorithm AI? Because we've had algorithms forever. You know what I'm saying?
algorithm.
Like,
Well, hold on, because you're talking about ON time algorithm, or you talking about an algorithm that actually collects data and all that stuff, because a lot of that stuff is AI driven.
but we've had that for years. I'm talking about like
Yeah, I mean,
generative.
we've had AI has been in existence for over 40 years. I don't know why your refrigerator has AI. It's run on Linux. I don't know why people acting like AI is just this new thing. I mean, your the light system in the streets are run on AI. Like all this stuff is run on some form of artificial intelligence. It's just with the large language models, it's been able to ramp all this stuff up. So
Right.
the Netflix algorithm was AI along for the that's what separated it from everybody else. That
No,
was the
that's
thing.
what
The
it
whole
is.
matching.
Everybody else was this
Yeah, the whole
catalog.
matching. Well, how do you control a catalog? You have so much data coming in. You need AI to help you manage it.
So
It's all it's,
what we know Netflix was streaming, you
it's
used to be able to like rent
there
it.
is no pre AI. There was always AI. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. There's no pre AI. Pre AI is 1965, 1973, 1981. That's pre AI. The minute you started getting automation in any type of thing or in any type of electronics, that's the beginning stages of AI. That's why Terminator was such a
Okay.
big deal in 1980.
What I'm trying to say is there's a time when you could rent a movie from Netflix. That was not AI. That was their catalog and the
Mm.
The whole
convenience of renting something.
there's
So
system in
yes,
order.
but once
There's
you put it
system.
in streaming, once you put it on streaming, yes, there is automation to serve you and to help you discover movies, TV shows. I'm not debating that. What I'm talking about is when I get on Netflix right now, I don't chat to a bot and say, "This is what I want to watch. Serve me up a movie." I don't need your
No,
help with it.
no. What
I
AI
don't
does
need.
is what Netflix and Google and Amazon all do is they've been watching you for years. They're like, okay, we're just gonna serve this
Yeah.
movie in front
We're
of
not
you.
talking about
But that
that form of
but
AI.
that's AI.
Yes, but I'm not talking about that form of AI. I'm talking about the shit that's killing our water right now.
That's all part of it. They're running out of server. They're all running out of the
Like
same server
the
farms.
processing plants and
Yeah.
stuff.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Guys, I
It's
thought it.
not.
Wait, wait,
This
wait.
server farm. No, hold on, because we're gonna keep information. It's server farms.
Uh,
All server farms have always used tons of water. So
mm,
that's part of the problem. But it's
But
really
it's
it all could be
exponential.
solved if Americans stop being afraid of nuclear energy. It'd be solved like that. So there's a lot of nuances that come along with this.
We're talking about an
I
exponential increase in AI use right now. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm not really using it
There's another platform for this.
other than what's in my
As my
tools
AI
already.
tells me,
Like,
I have another 3 hours to run on my stuff.
oh my god. But you guys, I thought of something that I forgot to bring up that I'm gonna bring up, which is long form content. I did kind of mention long form social media, but long form content I think is gonna come back. And I think it's going to come back because um, all these models, these language learning models, et cetera, they need content in order to serve up, um, you know, data, information that people are searching. And there was an interesting thing that happened this past week, which is Raptive lowered their page views in order to qualify for the program. Do you understand how much I have wanted to be a part of Raptive? But 100,000 page views for my website per month wasn't going to happen. Like it was just out, like just not even attainable. They lowered it to 25,000 page views a month. I think there are many reasons why, but I think that for people who are really into long form content, like the Substack girlies, this Substack folks, people who are into writing on Ghost and things like that, that is something that they may be very excited about. That change might be something that they're excited about because it's easier to um, qualify for a well-paying platform. I'm totally reading this right now.
Can you explain what Raptive is? This is the
Oh,
first time I'm hearing that.
so there's Mediavine, which is an ad network that a lot of like blogger folks they want to qualify for. And in the past, Mediavine typically, in order to qualify for it, you're getting like 50,000 page views a month. They pay very well. Typically, when people are approved for Mediavine, you're getting $2,000 to $3,000 in ad revenue a month. That's like the average, depending on the type of content that you're producing. Raptive was 100,000. And so the amount of money that you're getting paid once you're approved for Raptive is, it's quite significant because you have those page views. But when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about like how people have broader brand ecosystems. So maybe they have like a YouTube channel and they're directing people back to a link to a website or what have you. This is more compelling for people to do all those things because they can direct people to a platform and hopefully earn more than they would on YouTube, but they could still leverage YouTube because that's still a great discovery platform. So I'm very excited about this Raptive change. It's a great ad network, and I'm very interested to see if people will change their their approaches to their content in 2026 with that in mind. I know that for my Colorado project specifically, this is a huge deal. This is attainable. Period. End of story. So now I'm like very like excited because I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is a thing. Okay, let's do it. So I'm gonna keep an eye out on blogging, the blogging world, and I'll keep you guys posted to see
Do
what
you,
people say.
do you guys think that I'm glad you brought this up, that companies are going to start looking at creators in 2026 at the whole ecosystem and start changing how they do some of their business in order to capitalize off of that?
Yeah, I do. I think that working with smaller people with more like um, connected audiences where they can do a lot of bespoke, uh, strategies and I can't even think of the word right now, like a bespoke marketing strategy. I think it will pay off more in the long run. And they could work with a lot of different people. They can geo target people. So instead of hoping to work with, Colorado based people, they know that you're in Colorado. They can spend in certain ways. They know if you're in Denver, if you're in Crested Butte, whatever it is. And I think it's a better way to spend marketing dollars.
Really quick, I have to hop because I have something else. But I hope you guys keep talking. I will
Yes.
look at the replay. Thank you guys for joining us, all 60 of you. I'm not sure why we couldn't get 9 more, but we're not going to go there.
Oh,
We'll work on it.
ongoing joke.
I predict that for the 2026. I predict that part.
Oh.
We'll get there.
Bye.
Oh my lord.
Hi, Angela. Have a good night.
Hi, Angela.
I have a question since we're talking about ads. Recently, Byron Allen settled with McDonald's for theirs. I don't know if you know about this, where he caught McDonald's actually lowering the pricing for advertisements for black networks and stuff like that. Do you think that's going to send a
Whoa.
message to these advertising agencies across the board, or is that just going to be just right where with his media and what he's doing with his media empire?
What do you mean? Like, who we should work with?
No, as far as the compensation, because
Oh,
typically black creators typically pay less than our white counterparts. No matter how much we shouted at the top of our lungs and the data shows it, it still hasn't really. Still doesn't. It still doesn't. It still hasn't really changed much, I should say.
I think it depends. So, like, for my, I think it depends. For my Colorado website, it's not necessarily like, it depends on who you're targeting within your content, and on the back end, if their algorithm adjusts, and we have no way of knowing if their algorithms adjust based on the audience. Do you know what I mean? I don't know that McDonald's or any other big company is motivated not to do shitty things. I don't know if that's gonna be the case.
Oh, it was about
Uh,
okay. Lauren is saying it was about the black. It wasn't about the black creators, but the marketing agency owners.
oh,
Yeah, because McDonald's basically says, "Here, we have X amount of dollars we'll give to you," and then the agency owners kind of decide who they're going to pay and bring on and stuff. But I was just wondering if you think there might be a trickle effect in 2026 off of that lawsuit. I mean, with the lawsuit, it wasn't disclosed everything, but it was. I thought it was interesting that that was the issue,
I
and
mean,
it's
I
like,
I think that I don't know, I think the problem that we have right now is that we're dealing in the US in a moment in time where truth is flexible and transparency is flexible. And so the things that we want, such as like fair compensation and things like that, in order for that to happen, the places that we're working with have to be dealing with us in with integrity. And there's no way for us, it's very difficult for us to ascertain if that's the case or not. And so we're having to go through a lot more hoops to like work through the trust piece to even trust that would be the case, that we would be treated fairly. So like with Mediavine and Raptive, basically once you're approved to be on those platforms, their ad networks, you know, they put like a pixel or whatever on your platform, and then they serve out the ads, right? How you're compensated is based on the type of content you're doing, the region. So if you're in the United States, you get paid more. Traditionally in the past, you get paid more. If you're in Australia, you get paid less because most of their audience is in the US. So I don't know. It's hard to say. And there are, I always get distracted with, wait,
yeah, I
let's
keep
see,
seeing the comments
McDonald's.
popping up.
Yes. But I love it because it means that you guys actually are enjoying the conversation. So yes, McDonald's is interesting because to me, I don't eat at McDonald's. Are you serious? But it's a real estate company. Like to me, it's a real estate company. It's not a food company. And I've always been that kid who's never liked it. I only like the fries and the old apple pies that they don't make anymore. And the coffee. I hate to admit it, their coffee's good. I don't care. Their coffee's good. Um, so I don't know. McDonald's not is not my ministry.
No, I didn't want to go. I didn't want this to go for I just thought it was interesting. Like I caught the article earlier today, and I just thought that might be interesting in regards to the disparities, with ad revenue. I don't know. I didn't expect it to trickle over to my space with the podcasting stuff, right? But I just thought
Oh,
it was interesting that I mean, Byron Allen always keep catching companies out there, so I shout out to him on that one. But I was just like, yeah, it's kind of like, oh, yep, that's what we've been saying for the longest, right? Um, but like Lauren's been doing in the comment section, she's been breaking it down. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like I have a whole lot of knowledge on it. It was just an article I read it. I was like, this is interesting. So,
no, I mean, those
um,
are the kinds of stories that I'm like, but I'm just so low key cynical about a lot of things these days that I think for us to even get the compensation, I feel like this brought a conversation around like fairness and compensation in 2026 for creators of color, and what does that look like, and how can we even make that happen? And I feel like that's just a broader that's a broader conversation because you need to have people and companies and organizations bought into the idea that we should be fairly compensated.
There's been some
Actually,
talk. Oh, sorry.
sorry, I'm gonna say something really quick. It's funny because on Threads, right before I logged on, there was this whole conversation about this woman who's a coach. She goes, "Wait a minute, now I'm going to have to raise my prices to $750 for the hour." And I was like, "What?" Because I don't really do coaching like that. But I've been paid a lot when for an hour, but that's like not like how I do things, right? So I go through Threads and I see this whole thing where this white creator is like, "Yeah, I got paid $750 for the hour," and da 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 da. And um that was interesting. It was interesting to see that creator talking about it. It was interesting to see other people reacting to it. I have a very different like monetization philosophy as like all three of us kind of do. Um I feel like, we're still in the wild west as it relates to fair like just what we think we should be compensated for, what that looks like, what's ethical. Um and so that's a whole broader conversation.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of in line with what I was about to say. There has been talk in the podcast audio space. There's been talk of like creating like a unionization, like a SAG or like something like that for audio professionals, because to address the compensation stuff, to try to create a standardized some kind of standardization to make sure people are being paid fair compensation. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting to see how that talks pans out over 2026 as well. Um, I know this doesn't relate to everybody watching, but that's kind of an important thing on my side. Because my biggest concern was how well if you create a SAG or something like that, how does that affect the independent creator who might not be working at these companies and stuff that are that have to join in on that stuff. Like if I decide to create a company and hire staff, all of a sudden now I have to move into this space of being with the union and dealing with the union and stuff. So like it gets really, really kind of tricky with that stuff. But I think that's going to be another prediction I see of that conversation expanding in 2026 on the audio side of things.
That'll be interesting. I mean, it's definitely been an issue in the written side of things. That's been something that like freelancers have been, and they've had uh legislation that has passed that has harmed a lot of people's freelancing businesses, specifically in California. And it was so impactful that they had to go back and rework, if I remember correctly, they had to go back and rework the law. And so um, I think we're in an atmosphere where it will be difficult to get anything done. So I think there'll be an expanded conversation, but I think it'll happen on a state level, not federal.
Yeah,
That's
that's gonna
that's
be
funny.
that's gonna be like I said, that's gonna be an interesting conversation about that stuff. So I think in 2026 is going to see a lot of interesting things happening, like legislative wise, with the content creation space. Especially, is the midterms next year? That's when the midterms
Yes.
happen,
Oh
right?
my god.
I think we're going to start
Ugh.
hearing more. I think we're going to start hearing more of that when we get closer to the midterms because once again, podcasting is going to come to light in regards to the influence it has on voters. And I think that's going to, depending on which way it goes in 2026, you're going to start seeing some kind of talk about legislate, like kind of how they did with the Russian bots with Facebook and stuff years ago. That whole thing. So it's gonna be real interesting to see for me in 2026. Or I could be completely utterly wrong, but I don't think after this past election cycle, how much money was dumped into podcasts. I don't think it can be ignored anymore.
Actually, I'm gonna talk about podcasts a little more. I I have discovered some wonderful podcasts this year, but I have also gotten really tired of just people just talking stupid. A good example, just stupid shit. A good
I see a
example
tariff coming
is
on podcast equipment in
no, listen.
2026.
What is the name of that guy who went to Ciara's house and Russell Wilson's house for
Oh, the
Thanksgiving?
football player that's from out there?
That dummy.
No.
He's so dumb.
Yeah.
No one's
Yeah.
ever gonna let that man in their house again. You guys, like, as much as we are empowered to share our thoughts and all the things, I feel like, actually this is a broader thing. I need people to really have some discernment around the things they talk about when they're talking in public. Whether you are a celebrity, like the self-awareness is really not there anymore. It's just gone. I saw a video today of a woman recording her child, an eighth grader, who had had a baby, who had been harmed, in my view. And I'm like, why is your child on the internet for content? So I think where I'm going with this is not everything should be content. Not every moment should be content. I think I'm getting really frustrated with this like idea that every moment that we're having should be content. It's okay to be offline. It's okay to not expose your child who was harmed because if they're in 8th grade, they're their child. Why do they have a baby? What is going on? I have questions about you, mom, right? So I think in 2026, I would love to see people think more deeply and like maybe
That's
more
gonna happen.
pushback. I know, more pushback against these moments where it's like, why is it that you don't understand that this is problematic behavior? I'm so tired of it. Like, not everything, we don't need to know all your business, people.
I put a post on Facebook the other day, yesterday, I think about it. Where you're not gonna get that kind of content on audio only podcasts. So when the conversation goes about like video and audio podcasts, I think I realized, and this goes back to the guy, I forgot his name, the football player, right? And in light of what you're talking about, people see the video I think they see themselves and they hear themselves and they're like, it gives them that euphoria of like, I made it, I'm on camera, right?
Uh-huh.
So remember when you growing up, the joke would be like, if you saw a friend on the news, it'd be like, oh, you're 15 seconds of
You're
fame. 50
famous.
seconds,
Yeah.
your 50 seconds of fame never was really dealing with audio. It was dealing with you being visually seen on a screen. So I think that's where we're at on that. I think that's where we're at on that. And unfortunately, until we get rid of the video component, we're just going to keep having, it's going to keep escalating and escalating and escalating until, I want to say until somebody gets hurt from it, but people are constantly being hurt from it. So I don't think that's going to stop it. I just think that's just something that we're going to have to deal with.
Ugh.
But I think there is going to come a point in it with people where they're going to be like, enough is enough. And they can't deal with it anymore. Like, a lot of more people I'm seeing saying they're disconnecting from the internet, they're disconnecting from
Yeah.
socials and stuff. But it's not in mass enough to send a warning to these companies either to say, hey, maybe we need to start policing this and really, you know, or this is becoming a big concern. I mean, I forgot his name, the guy Tristan something. He's been preaching for like the past 10 years about how addictive social media and how they're intentionally going about it. And it's been like, not saying it's been falling on deaf ears, but it hasn't had enough effect where people are like, "Huh, we need to deal with this immediately, right? Because they're I attribute all this stuff to like to the drug game. You're like a heroin addict. You need your next fix. And
I
for a
don't
lot of people,
necessarily disagree.
drama, whether it's putting it out there or receiving it, like that fix. That's a big fix for them. So that's why you get the mom that puts her child without, doesn't even think about the ripple effects of it, puts their child on a video, or somebody going through something and they decide, I'm gonna pick up a camera and cry. And then, I'm gonna put on this whole performative display. And I think it's also a sign of the ills of society where a lot of people have these holes in their lives where they think this is going to fill it.
Mm.
So like, I know I just got all philosophical and stuff, but you're like,
I know. I'm like, oh,
so it's hard to combat that.
right.
It's hard
Um,
when it's filling people's needs or voids.
I want to segue into YouTube actually, because I'm going to say something, and you're like, I knew it. So, I feel like at the beginning of this year, I was like, I don't know about YouTube, like whatever. And I have
Drum
painfully
roll.
decided to start a channel, but it took me a long time to figure out how I wanted to, uh, how I wanted to approach it. I know that for me, I don't want a really like scripted, polished channel. I just don't, because the more polished it is in the beginning, the more likely I'm going to drop off on it. So, I have made my peace with that. And so I
Gotcha.
figured out how I'm going to do it.
Angela
I
missed
mean,
the
either,
announcement. Angela missed the
oh
announcement. You guys heard
my
it here
God,
first.
Michael, whatever. So I'm trying to figure out like what the cadence is going to be, um, how I'm going to like commingle my content, which was a big like concern and issue. Um, but yeah, I think that I see enough of a compelling reason to add to my workflow. Um, it's gonna be interesting. Actually, what are the things that you're gonna do next year? Like, are there any new things that you're adding in? So I'll share what I'm doing, which is YouTube's a big one. Um, I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book. I'm announcing that to you guys now. I've scheduled it. It's pre-order, like it's all ready, but I won't announce the name of it until January. I'm writing romances again, so that's pre-scheduled. I'm super, super, super excited about that. Um, and all three of us are hosting a summit, but I am also hosting my own summit in the fall, an online summit, because I discovered a gap in the market, and it's something that has pissed me off. And so I was like, okay, I will be that person. Why me? But I'm gonna be that person. So yes. What about you, sir? What are you doing?
Oh man. So in 2026, the BPA is getting a whole new overhaul. I have a whole. We're moving silently right now, but I have a whole team now that I'm working with. So things
Okay.
should be moving. So we're building our right now I'm in the process of, during the vacation I had decided to go and meet with my program director and build out our education, our academy or whatever you want to call it. So we're going to start doing
Oh,
more workshops and stuff inside the community in 2026. You're probably going to start seeing me doing more social stuff and videos and our YouTube, building that stuff up, as I've been told by our director of marketing. Um, with the gap between with Afros and audio ending this past year, and just us not having something black centered, we're working on our own conference. I don't think this happened in 2026, but we're definitely targeting 2027. But this year's Summer Social, being our fifth one, might
uh,
be changing format in order to. Yeah, I gotta get told, Lauren. That's how it goes. Um,
wait, Corey. What do you vaguely know? Vaguely the time of year you're thinking about having it? Vaguely.
the idea was so me being the New York pettiness that I am, I was trying to do it around the time of podcast movements in New York. Only
Yeah,
with twofold. One, people were going to be coming into New York anyway, so I wanted to capitalize
yeah,
off of that. But two, to send a kind uh of a pushback on the pushback that they gave people when they were being vocal about how they felt about it and showing like we don't need y'all. We could do our own thing over here. We could do it bigger and well, we
right.
could do it better. We can't do it bigger, and so to speak on the side of how they are. But When I say bigger, I mean the impact and the experience and stuff like that. Problem is they don't have a set date, so I have to make decisions based on that. And then part of me, after the waters calmed down a little bit, was kind of like, well, do we need to ride off of that? But
Uh,
so it's just like we should just pick a date and just do our own thing and just establish ourselves that way. So more news will be coming on about that. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up high about it because I'm also on a stage of if we can't execute it, we can't get the funding and all that stuff, we just won't do it. Because my
yeah.
mentality now, and I stress with the team is like, if we can't do it, if it can't be done right, we're just not going to do it. Like, if there has to be a gap, there has to be a gap. As much as I want us to be an institution and build this thing up, sometimes it's on other people to step up to the plate if you have a problem with it too. Like, it can't just be Corey and his team has a problem with it, so we'll take on that responsibility. We already have enough on our plate. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, and I'm kind of mad that I said this on here because I haven't talked to the team about that yet. So,
Well, I mean,
but yeah,
but
but
I think that
but
it's
I know they
important
would be in
because it
agreement
costs
because
money.
yeah, and I don't want to push. I don't want to like. I think with all of these conferences and stuff, and this goes back to what you were saying about the pricing, right? It's kind of like
Right.
I'm noticing, and I'm noticing the decline in attendance, and everybody thinks raising the price of creating or bringing in this person, and the whole time you just give it's the experience that people are complaining about, and you're not listening to that part.
Mhm.
So for me, it's like if we can't raise the standard and give a good experience and have this something that people like, I got to come back next time, or if kind of like what Chioke does with Resonate, where it's that whole fear of missing out, and you hear nothing but great things, but still, then we're not going to do it. That's how I look at it. So, and I think that's going to be across the board. But my strategy for 2026 for what we're doing is to start the plan of just I want to build something that these companies and in the industry itself can't ignore it and has to,
What's
especially with all the gatekeeping going on. I had a brain fart for a second. With the
mm,
gatekeeping and stuff going on, make it you build something so big they can't ignore it. They have to come. They can't no matter they gotta come pissed off because they got to come sit at the table with you. And that's my mentality for 2026. So a lot of the things we're going to be doing is getting us to that point where we're building something that's like, so also it also means we're revamping how we're doing things inside the BPA. It's a whole restructuring going on in there too. So I'm excited,
so I mean, I feel like sometimes the break is how you have the breakthrough.
I had the breakthrough before the break, but
No, but I mean, sometimes sometimes the quiet break, earlier someone was saying you build in silence. Sometimes you're just doing that. And that's where the breakthrough,
yeah.
happens. I believe that you had it before that.
I think my breakthrough came from me falling on my face, but okay, but it comes for people differently.
Oh, thank God. Um, oh my God. Is there anything else that is on our minds for today? I was
No,
hoping that we
I
get
think
3 more.
oh, 3 more people? Oh my gosh. Are we gonna do this again? We're gonna have this. We're gonna
You'll
have our.
crack up.
Oh, the kids have the 6-7 moment. We're gonna have our 6-9 moment.
Oh my lord. I don't know what's happening with that 6-7. You know what? I don't even wanna know. I'm like, "Whatever, kids."
I don't even
Um,
ask my kids. I don't even want to
I don't
know.
wanna
Like you
know.
said,
No.
y'all have that. No, nothing outside of like everybody. Just be on the lookout for the summit that we're gonna be doing. I gotta give you some updates on
Yes.
that too. But we'll talk about that. But yeah, so I think the people we're gonna have coming and the conversations we're gonna have are gonna be amazing, and I'm excited.
Dear viewers, do you know what we're talking about?
Well, you
So,
mentioned it earlier just a few minutes ago. So,
well, no, I didn't say. I said that we're doing a summit and that I'm doing my summit, but we didn't say what it was.
uh,
So,
I mean, then we announced it
uh,
last time though, didn't we? I
no,
remember
we need to
Angela
do it
said,
each time, because I don't know if all these folks were in the last live stream. I'm just
"Whoops,
saying. I'm just
my
saying.
bad."
So I'm giving Corey a hard time. He can handle it. He's a New Yorker, okay? So myself, Corey, and Angela. are hosting a virtual summit on February 19th and February 20th. Am I getting the dates right? I want to say that the 19th and the 20th. Sorry, I'm double checking the dates.
Yeah, let me get my
Um,
calendar.
yes. So Thursday, February 19th and Friday the 20th. We are calling it the Anti-Grifters Club Virtual Summit. That is kind of our more formalized name for what we're doing. I can't wait to have some like gear designed. And the topic that we're covering is the power of storytelling. Super excited about this. You can go to creatorsgettingpaid.com/anti, ANTI. That's my link to sign up for the summit. Again, it's in February, but we are asking people to start signing up so that we know there's interest and just so that you are in the loop for that event. Um, we are very excited about this. We have been live streaming for a year. Oh my God, for a year. It has been honestly one of the best things like that I've done this year. I'm so blessed to have been in this space with Corey and Angela and to have these conversations, to create in this way, and to show up in this way, and just to have the conversations that we've had with the wonderful viewers. Oh my God. Stop it. Do you know that on my phone, each comment is coming up 3 times? It's like the weirdest thing.
That's a connection issue.
Yeah, I'm like, "That's great that it's showing up 3 times. Fantastic." Um, actually, maybe that's the last prediction. Collaborations. I think that collaborations are gonna be really impactful and important for creators. Stop it, Michael. I think that collaborations are going to be really important in 2026. Um, I think it's going to be very difficult to go at it alone. It always has been. I think it's going to be even more so. I think there's a lot more friction with third party platforms. I think there's just, weird stuff uh, that happens with, technology. So having people who have your back and who'll shout out what you're doing and share what you're doing, I think is going to be hugely important as we go through the year.
I agree. I think collaboration is going to be it's going to be a big thing for a lot of people. I mean, we see that now. So I know in the podcast space, cross collaborations is still one of the biggest ways to get discovered. But I think seeing people actually working together. I don't know. It's interesting you brought that up because in the movie space, like like you had the Brat Pack and you had
Oh,
the what was
yeah.
it? You had, the Rat Pack. You
Uh-huh.
had what Ben Stiller and them did for that run in the early 2000s where they were constantly in each other's movies. I don't understand
Uh-huh.
why or in hip hop where you had like like you had the Wu-Tang and you had like Wu Kid Click, you had these groups that were constantly on each other's albums. And I don't understand why we're not capitalizing that on the creator space. Because we've seen for all these different groups of people how iconic it made them just by but collaborating on each other's projects and working with each other and creating film, music, whatever. We have yet to really see like a conglomerate, like a core collaborative group, like like a Rat Pack or something in the podcast space. Well, I just may come up with my own thing for 2026. We'll see. Well, but Lauren mentioned the Madami thing and being in New York. That was part of his success too. He did kind of have his stream, like and you probably saw some stuff on Twitter. I mean, on Twitter threads during the election where you see certain key people really talking out there, talking and promoting and really, defending him as well. So, um, maybe that's kind of how it looks in this side. Yeah, the streamers definitely do. That's how with Kai and all of them do too. I noticed that. I've been watching them a lot more lately on how they move and operate.
I know why people don't think in this way. It's because what do you call it? Like I think it's the network effect suppresses that in podcasting. Because being a part of a network is very different than doing a collaborative project like what we've been doing, right? Being a part of a network is a little more passive in some ways than
Hmm.
being a part of a really active, like, focused, collaborative project where you, myself, and Angela, we're showing up. We have a branded thing. Like it has its own life and entity and energy around this collaboration. When you're in a podcasting collective, maybe you all have the same kind of show, but it's like that's it, unless the person who is running the collective is thinking outside of the box beyond. If you go to what do you call it when it's like all the same shows in a what do you call that?
A podcast network?
Yes. So like I I just know because this goes to discoverability, right? Like I don't go to networks. Like that's I don't I literally discover my shows in probably 3 different ways. Search, where I'm searching for certain types of content, and I'm really irritated all the time because, certain platforms have terrible search. Why is this happening again? Searching for certain types of content.
What's happening?
Can you hear the feedback? Okay. Ugh. Anyway, there's feedback on my side. So there's SEO search. Um, Now on Threads, I'll see people's podcasts embedded in their profiles, which is awesome. I've discovered a couple of really cool shows already. Um, and then like search within the app itself, and then search online where I'm trying to find content, and I just type it in to Google or what have you. Some people would do it with ChatGPT, depending on how they're doing search right now. Or I know people and people will tell me about stuff, so word of mouth. But I think, uh, podcasts still suffer from a discoverability issue, and so there's a lot of
Oh
great
yeah.
work out there, but you don't know it because it's hard to find it. So, like, right now, I'm trying to find content that people have made about 20 like, the beginning of 2026, right? What are they looking at? What do they think is gonna happen? Blah, blah, blah. And I do think people are creating this, but I found very few episodes around it, which is very surprising to me,
Well, I think that's
given
because people tend to use look at YouTube as a place for that kind of content.
I
It's usually
totally
that
do
kind of
not.
content found on oh,
I don't wanna watch
constant show.
this is part of the reason.
I know that. I'm just saying. I know, like when I get on YouTube, I'm constantly getting fed those kind of posts. That's why I know. Like I see it all the time.
Oh.
Prediction for AI, prediction for this in 2020. I mean, I know it's a to get your attention and everything, but I think you don't see
Wait a
that in
minute. I'm
podcast.
gonna
I
look.
think you don't see that in podcasts because it's not algorithmic on
Oh,
a lot of
okay.
those search on a lot of those discoverability tools on those platforms.
Okay, I'm gonna look at YouTube right now. Just a second. Let me see what happens. I'm just not on YouTube that much, which is interesting.
I know, yeah, but like you said, the discoverability portion and the search portion, especially, and I think a lot of it has to do with there's no standardization in podcasting, right? The industry as a whole, there's no real standardization in regards to. I looked up, I looked up, and I saw it. There's no standardization, so because there's no standardization, everybody's operating in however they want to operate, right? And this is no knock. I'm just using Apple as an example. Apple, the difference between Apple and Spotify is Apple's discovery. Their platform is free, so they're not going to, they're well, is it free anymore? Because I know you can do like subscriptions and stuff, and they take a piece of that pie. But their platform is accessibly free, right? So they're not gonna make the same effort Spotify might do, because Spotify uses their platform, their podcast platform, as an advertising vehicle. So they're gonna make more of an effort to put, to have the searchable stuff and all that, because they want to make sure they get the advertising in front of you. So there's because there's no standardization in podcasting across the board, you know, you're gonna see everybody operating differently, and some of these companies that some of these companies too that have these platforms you listen to your podcast on, they're barely making it. So to have a whole development team really work on an algorithm for the SEO and search and stuff is it's not always going to be there. So
Michael's saying that the discovery on YouTube is so good that people don't even post off platform, which I think is interesting, but also very dangerous if one day YouTube's like, we're over your channel, you know?
or they decide to change their business model, or they decide to change their legal, their legal, the how they, legal stuff. So like you're such, if you're so held onto one platform, we see that all the time though. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Lauren, especially for shorts, because a lot of clips that we do on here get posted on basically my YouTube channel was basically defunct. I wasn't putting nothing up there, but our shorts get put on from these lives. They could create shorts, and the viewers like they got this hit like 25,000 over the weekend. So it's like off of the
I
shorts alone. So it's like it's crazy.
Are you adding our
And I'm
links to that, or is it just
no,
being
I just
pushed
have my
out?
Substack. I just have my Substack connected to my YouTube page. So no matter what content I put out, it's going to go on there.
Uh,
Any video content.
by the way, people, Google AdSense does not pay a lot. So if you're on YouTube, like here's the thing. I mentioned I'm going to start my channel. You better believe that from episode number 1, I'm directing people to an email list, period, end of story, and other things that I can get paid for. I am not going to be like focused on Google AdSense. If I get monetized in that way later on, great. But from like episode number 1, there's a whole strategy because AdSense pays less than Raptive and Mediavine, actually. So I've always been like kind of intrigued by how like people don't know about these other ad networks, but since it's YouTube, you can't use them on YouTube. But that's a whole different conversation. Lauren's saying she knows about AdSense, but a lot of people don't. That's why I'm bringing it up. She's focusing on getting monetization, like we all should, but she's also trying to get consulting. Oh yeah, from the channel. I think that's smart. Apparently they're focusing on shorts. This is good for me to know. And you can build your you can build your platform that way, but they pay shit. Which is why I I've been thinking very much about moving people into my ecosystem and like what the products are and that kind of thing. So I just I don't want to wait on AdSense. I think it's a distracting strategy versus uh I think of course work towards it, but I think it distracts people from all the other things that they can do. One creator is getting brand deals, but I feel like most of us could get brand deals now, right? Like I've gotten brand deals. Um, maybe she's getting paid more because she has more people on the channel. Um, I'm always interested to see the back end of someone's business.
She
Shorts.
got 50K from it last month. Okay, well, maybe I'm doing something
Hey,
completely
I
wrong.
like that.
Yes.
All right, Lauren. She's like Michelle. I love that for her. I think long form is the way, but he's biased. Yes, Michael, I would also agree with you. Um I think that there's an audience for long form for sure. Also, isn't next year the year that they're doing American TikTok? Is that what's happening with that platform?
I have no clue. I'm trying to avoid it, but this looks like that's going to be part of our marketing strategy. So I got to get
I
over
am not doing.
myself.
Okay. I think other than that, we're at 69 viewers today. Um, I think we should introduce ourselves one more time, as well as Angela. And don't forget, everybody, okay, next week we're going to have one last live stream on Tuesday of next week. Then we're taking a break because we are tired. We're tired. We'll be back on Tuesday, January 20th. So we're going to take a nice break and encourage you to do the same. Michael hates TikTok because it promotes on camera what? Ranting.
Ranting.
Gross. Okay, I don't like that either. Um, ew. Let me introduce Angela real quick. So, our other co-host is Angela Hollowell, who is the creator and founder of Melanin MVP. I'm hugely excited about this project, where she talks about melanated women as they support and are excited about sports. Like, we're sports enthusiasts. So if you are a sports enthusiast, definitely become a part of that community. Also, she runs Please Hustle Responsibly, a fabulous newsletter that I am a subscriber of. I read it every time it comes out. My name is Michelle Jackson. I run Creators Getting Paid. My mission is to share and inspire all the different ways creators are monetizing their work. I have the mission so all may learn, so all may earn. I also run a project called Square State Colorado, which is clearly all about Denver and the state of Colorado. Corey, you are it.
I am Corey Gums. I'm the founder of the Black Podcast Association. I also run a newsletter here on Substack called Black Pod News, blkpodnews.com. It's dedicated to the Black side of podcasting. We do a lot of. We also I didn't even talk about we're doing it with that, but the goal is to create a platform that introduces the industry to Black creators and Black professionals on that side of podcasting, and give us a platform to showcase our work. I'm excited for what's coming for us on that side too in 2026. But I'll let you guys know about that. You'll see it as we roll out. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 5K. I'm about maybe 40 people short. It'll be worth your
5K.
time. Yeah, we're trying to get to 5K. It's been an interesting 2-year run, but we're here and I appreciate it. And I thank everybody for all the support. But subscribe
And it is a
subscribe to all of our
wonderful,
newsletters.
yes. And by the way, like Corey's newsletter is fantastic. It is a wonderful industry publication. So I really do hope that you are a subscriber of that. So with that being said, I'm going to lay down and read a book. I'm tired. There's a snowstorm coming in, and all I want to do is like relax. That's it. That's all I got, guys. That's it.
All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday.